Oh, guys, I forgot to tell you this tea that happened earlier this week. Well, it didn't happen earlier this week, but I found out about it this week. This blanket's on the floor, and it's bothering me. Okay. So you guys know I have a really shitty ex. If you didn't know, now you know. It got so bad that a restraining order was in place last year for 2018. Well, to the end of 2018 through most of 2019. It went up in August. I didn't try to reinstate it. They live elsewhere now. And I was like, he doesn't know where I live, anything like that, it should be okay. He hasn't tried to contact me, to my knowledge. I haven't blocked across the board. Like, he can't even find me on LinkedIn. But the other day, my friend posted, it's like, hey, Facebook has a dark mode now, but I guess she was just a randomly selected tester. She said Facebook was like, hey, try dark mode now. So I went in my settings to try and find it, because I would greatly appreciate a dark mode on Facebook, not just in Messenger. And so I was just looking through all my settings, and I was like, well, I'm not finding it, but let me check the block settings just in case somebody, like, Facebook glitches all the time. I've heard people, like, saying people who were blocked for good reason are now unblocked and can contact them. So I was like, let me make sure that's all good and fine and dandy. And it shows you who you have blocked messages from. Messenger won't show you, I don't think, but like in this part, it shows you who they're from. And it showed, you have a message from so-and-so from September 2019. So literally, he tried to contact me a month after the order was up. I'm still like chilled to the core by that. I'm just like, I knew he was gonna try that shit. I knew it, because that was his pattern. He'd be a dick to me, he'd be abusive, then a month later contact me back, act like nothing happened, do that same shit again, and it was like every 2 months or so. That was his cycle, that was his pattern. And I knew as soon as he wasn't legally obligated where he couldn't talk to me, like, that was the clause in there. No communication or contact through either party, nor through anybody else. So like, a cousin couldn't be trying to talk to us, like, be a middleman. So I'm just like, the fuck. The last time I saw you was in a fucking courtroom. Fuck you, you piece of shit. That is not cool. And like, I read the message. You can like read it, and it was like, hey, I just wanted to see how you're doing, or something like that. And I'm like, no, fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit. You do not have any reason, or like, I have no obligation to let you back into my life whatsoever. Like, I nearly killed myself because of this motherfucker. Like, it was so bad. And he's the one who gave me HPV, so I've had to deal with all that shit by my fucking self, mind you. Like, no, I'm like having to deal with the prospects of cancer growing in my cervix, and you just think that you, by myself, and you think you have the right and availability to come in back to my life? No, motherfucker, no. Like, just the audacity alone. Just like, and that was the only message he sent. Hasn't tried to contact me in any other way. No more messages after that. Thankfully, I never saw them. And I never would have replied in the first place. But I just saw that this week, and I was like, I knew it. Fucking knew it. I was surprised that he hadn't, honestly. And then I was like, oh, that would be like him. I'm just like, how are you going to be abusive? How are you going to be manipulative? And, you know, go through this cycle and this pattern for 10 fucking months, sleep around, give me an STD, or STI is what they call them now, and then, you know, it gets so bad, you try to kick me out of our college program, and then the college is like, nah, you full of shit. And, like how, and then a restraining order had to be filed 2 months after that, And it's just like, how do you have the nerve to think I ever want to speak to you or see your face or, you know, anything about you ever again? I'm just like, I don't understand that at all. I really don't understand that thought process. I mean, I was way too forgiving and during the relationship, but after a year, after a full fucking year, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Did you already sleep? I mean, he had already slept with half the town by the time I met him, so I'm guessing he slept with the other half. And was like, let me go see if this person will come back into my life that I was horrible to. I'm just like, he destroyed my mental health. I'm just like, and what's really annoying is, I don't know how to word this, because I know this isn't true for every person in this field, but he, had a master's degree in psychology and was going back for the business degree and then go get his doctorate after that so he could run his own practice. And he used to love to have chats about psychology and, you know, the inner workings and kind of find out how my brain worked and my thoughts and whatnot. And, you know, at first you're like, oh, that's really endearing. You're wanting to get endearing. You're wanting to get to know me. That's on a more intellectual and emotional level. That's really cool. But actually, he was using that so he could find the easiest and best ways to manipulate me. And he would do this to anyone he met, too. It wasn't just me. He literally does this to everyone he meets. And I'm just like, the fuck? He just tore my mental health down so badly. Like, prior to meeting him, I hadn't had a panic attack since 2016. Since the November presidential election to 2016. And that was a bad one. I, like, cried at work. I sat down in the middle of the sales floor and cried. There was, I mean, it was like a Wednesday night the next day. I was like, this guy's gonna fucking kill us, and he's pretty much proving that. He literally said their sacrifices must be made to protect the economy. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Why don't you be that sacrifice, huh? You're in that elderly age group that should be concerned and worried and staying at home. Anyone who puts money or lives before lives is just a piece of shit, horrible human being. And yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. But yeah, and that was the last time. So 2016 was the last time I had a panic attack. Because I was high function, I can manage my anxiety pretty well without medication. And then this motherfucker comes into my life. I was having mental breakdowns and panic attacks every 2 months because of him. And like, and then the added stress of working a full-time job and going to school full-time and master's program. And something that wasn't my field, yet somehow managed to do very, very well. Despite all of everything, I graduated with a 3.8, but just completely tore it apart. And I was like, and I really haven't fully healed from that, like, emotionally and mentally. And just, even though it's been nearly 2 years since, actually, yeah, 2 years since I last was friendly with him, like, I'm still trying to heal from the damage he caused. And just, like I said, the fucking, I don't know why I'm lying like this. Don't judge me. But just the audacity alone to think he had any right to come back into my life. And I'm just so glad I had him blocked and that I couldn't see that shit. Especially in September, because I had noticed the bumps by then, but I was working a new full-time job, so I didn't have the time to, I didn't get to schedule that appointment, that biopsy I had in November, until like November. Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in town this week. It's early enough before the holidays that I can take off this day, or I had a schedule by then. And I was just like, I really would not have handled it well then, if I had seen that. And yeah, because I was not in a good mental place. But yeah, just even talking about it like really upsets me, clearly. But it frightens me that someone could still come that close to being able to access me. Especially someone who is so detrimental and just so horrible. So, yeah, that is just, it's not cool. It's really not cool. I don't know how to say more than I already have, but oof. It's an oofer. For real. Ugh. I can't wrap my head around it. I really can't. Like, I know why he's doing it, or why he did it, but it's still not okay. And it's still not any less... Even knowing the reason why still doesn't calm me. If that makes sense. Just like... Because... Fuck. I'm really glad we're in quarantine now, because I'm just like, now I'm like, well, what else might he try? I mean, he hasn't tried anything since September, but still doesn't mean he might not try something. So thankfully he has no idea where I live, he has no idea where I work, he doesn't have access to any of my friends either. They all blocked him. So, and none of my old classmates have enough information on me to give him any information. So, because all I post on like my personal Facebook is memes. I am a top tier shit poster, you guys. Might not know it from my public ones because I'm not really on them all that much, but yeah, so I don't really put any personal information out there to be had, but it's still like... that's part of like why I'm in this depression episode, is just like, how am I gonna be free of this fucker? How can I escape this? How can I get away from it? It's like, I don't have any money to move right now. Even if we weren't in quarantine, I still wouldn't be able to move right now. My credit score is better than where it was, but it's still not enough to... I could probably rent, but I have a lot of late payments and a lot of things in collections, so it still might be... And the late payments are only because I could only pay when I got money, and that wasn't all the time because I didn't have a stable income. And like even now, I only maybe make $800 to $1,000 a month. And that's when I've picked up hours, and worked like 10-hour days. So, and that's not all the time. Some months I may only make, $400. Like last month, that was last month, I only made like $400. So, yeah, it's just like, how can I get away? How can I go somewhere where he won't be able to find me, won't be able to track me down? He won't be able to get any information about me where I know I will be safe from him. Like, how can I do that when I don't have any money to move? Like, even if I go back to graduate school, I still have to be able to move to where that school is and, pay whatever bills then and pay for school, even if it's through student loans, which it would be. I don't know. It's really... I'm trying not to think about it because it's a really terrifying thought. Yeah. It's just really scary. And it's like, and there's no guarantee, even if I do move out of this area, that he still can't find a way, if he really, really wanted to, find a way to get a hold of me. I was like, just to let you know how crazy he is, he spray painted his car and a friend's car who I never met. I didn't meet any of his friends. He basically hid me. When we were in public, he acted like we weren't together. Like we were maybe just acquaintances. Like he knew who I was, but that was it. So I didn't know any of his friends. Not a soul. Not outside of the classroom. Never met this person. And so spray painted his car and their car. And then tried to say I did it. And that I wasn't in my car. Like he saw some sort of older model car. I don't remember exactly what was on the report. But when I described my car and even my dad's car to the cops when they asked me about it, they're like, oh, that doesn't match. And it's like, yeah, there's only 3 cars I have access to at any given time. Well, not even at any given time. My own car, my dad's car, and Steffi's car. I don't think Steffi was in the state. I was at home that night. Was I at home that night? No, I was working at Publix, and I had stayed at work until like 1 a.m. So they were training me on something that same night. So I'm like, well, I was at work until 1 a.m. You said this happened between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. I was still at work. And this is what my car looks like, this is what my dad's car looks like, and this is what my best friend's car looks like. 2 of the 3 people were out of state and 1 was at work. And we have video cameras all throughout the store, so I can prove I was there. And this fucker, he did that to prove it on me. To try to say I did that. Just so you know how fucked up he is. And then the cops were just like, fuck. They were just as confused, and nothing ever came of that afterwards. I never heard anything back. But, yeah, it's just like, and he would sleep with a knife under his pillow. And sometimes at the foot of his bed, and he would keep one in the bathroom, too. And, like, a kitchen knife at that. So I'm just like, the fuck? Like a steak knife, serrated steak knife. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I get, like, a pocket knife, maybe, or a Swiss Army knife by the bed for self-defense. But, shit, even a machete. But, steak knife? Out of your own kitchen, not even like for the purpose of self-defense, but you just decided to take it out of the knife block and put it under your pillow. So I was just like, and like I said, he tried to, like, God, I've pushed a lot of this down, because that's my coping mechanism for trauma, is just forget it. Yeah, so, yeah, he tried to get me kicked out of school, and Wesleyan, being alumni of the school, was just like, yeah, we've known her for 6 years. She's not gonna fucking do anything like that. She's never had an issue with anyone. We know her character, and also your stories don't match up, and she has evidence, proof, alibis for everything you're throwing at her, so we're gonna need you to not. So I wouldn't put it past him to try anything whatsoever. Like, ugh. But, you know, thank God for this quarantine. I guess there's, you know, that silver lining. But yeah, I need to make some good money soon, because I need to get the fuck up out of here for numerous reasons, but that is definitely a priority. There is cat slobber on the lens. Sorry, guys. I've just been vlogging my cats today, because they're adorable and silly. And that's like, I don't want to take my cats with me, so I'd have to find, if I couldn't afford to buy a house outright, well, I mean, with a mortgage payment and stuff, but I'd have to find a place that took let me have animals, let me have pets, and then pay that fee, and just, it's expensive to live, you guys. If you don't know this, it's really expensive, and is impossible for me to move out of my parents' house right now financially. And it's like, well, where the fuck would I go? I don't feel like I would be safe anywhere, not just in the South, but in the Southeast. So I don't know. Move to another country. Maybe Sweden. Anyways, yeah, I thought I would tell you guys, because, like, I love my friends, and they mean this with all the sincerity they can, that a person can. They get so pissed when I tell them, I'm like, I understand your anger, I'm angry too, but I need comfort and reassurance right now. I just need to vent, because, you know, I'm fucking terrified. And they're like, well, just don't look at it, delete it. I'm like, I already fucking did that. That's not the problem here, is that he did it in the first place, and that, you know, he's capable, don't know what he's capable of, and I just want some reassurance and protection. So, yeah. It's like, I love you guys for being angry for me, but it's not what I need right now. So, you know, it's just, I want to vent about how unsettled I am. So, thanks. Thanks for listening, you guys. I do appreciate it. I need to put, like, a trigger warning, because, you know, I talk about a lot of shit. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it. Just a mess of emotions right now, for a lot of reasons, but especially that. And I really don't know how to handle it, so I guess this is kind of how I handle things now, which is weird. Not something I ever thought I would do. You know, like vlogging and making videos and stuff like that to begin with, but especially, you know, just telling the whole internet what's going on in my mind. So, you know, thanks for being there. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Hopefully your quarantine is going good. You're not stir crazy yet. Maybe I'll do a tips video or something, but anyways, have a good night. Be safe. Stay home. All that good stuff. Bye, you guys.